Hi, it's Roger here from What's On at Disney Plus, and I'm here with some of the creators of the upcoming second batch of Short Circuit shorts, which are arriving on Disney Plus on August the 4th. And so I'm going to kind of go around the room here. And first off, with Liza, what is your short all about?
Hi, Roger. So my short follows a young girl on her bus journey to school. It's a public bus full of strangers, adult and children alike, and a lot of the time they seem a little bit weighted down by, by the weight of the world. So kind of in their own space, in their own heads, and she's just full of color, and she's, getting on this bus, going to school, and wanting to sort of keep that joy about herself and maybe spread it. But what ends up happening is that she's sort of affected by some of their doldrum energy, and so that drains her color instead of her infusing them with color. But until you see the short, I don't want to ruin the end, but hopefully there's this sort of Wizard of Oz moment at the end where laughter happens and people are pulled out of their own heads, and they're full with color again.
That's cool. And the same question to Jacob.
Hey Roger, my short is about a young adult who repeatedly travels back to his hometown in Germany, and on that journey he discovers the inevitable, which is change. Ultimately, that's pretty much the short summary.
And same and to Ryan.
My short Crosswalk is a lighthearted short about a character that wants to cross a street at a light that just refuses to change.
That's pretty cool. I must say, it was kind of one of those things of like, they're all very, very different in terms of the idea with this sort of fifth batch. So I kind of want to go into first off, I'll start with you, Ryan. What is kind of the process that you went through for getting into the Short Circuit program?
It's a cool program because you basically create a pitch, and it's an anonymous pitch, and you submit your idea, and there's a committee in the studio. They don't know who you are, but somebody helps display them to the committee, and depending on the idea, then you get selected or not. And I was fortunate enough to be one of the people.
And do any of you else have any like stories that went through with the process that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of like Ryan said, an anonymous process, and I've been actually trying to apply for multiple years now. And after trying again and again and tweaking my story, I was really happy that I got selected into that round of Short Circuit, and to be able to bring that story to life.
So for me, I actually wasn't going to submit. I had this idea, but the sort of like the self-doubt demons was like, no, don't submit, that's silly. And so sort of told my husband what I was thinking, and he was like, you have to submit. So I submitted, and like Ryan said, it's a fine submission, so I just got very lucky.
And so Ryan, the specific question for you is, how many times have you got stuck on a crosswalk?
Oh, me? Well, so many times that I got frustrated by it and had to put it out in a piece of art. And I still have to question myself as to why I really must have a problem with it to have gone that far with it. So.
So must admit, it's like being a Brit when I've gone out to like New York or something like that, and kind of the whole concept of jaywalking kind of is like something like, oh yeah, it's such a weird way of looking at it because we don't have that. And so it's definitely, I did kind of look and go, that's really weird.
Well, I lived in numerous cities, and depending on the city, the traffic laws are followed, not followed. But in LA, especially Burbank, where the studio is, you're always warned about don't jaywalk. The police are always out looking. So.
And I'm going to say, and Julie's, I've obviously being a Brit and being on the buses going to school and stuff, I definitely kind of felt that whole thing. Was the color sort of choice for grey kind of to represent like our winters kind of going to school?
Actually, yes, even the summers. A lot of the times getting the bus to school, I would get soaked with rain, and you have to prepare with an umbrella and a sun hat because you just don't know what the day's going to bring.
Yeah, no, I definitely kind of caught that one. And to you, Jacob, you're sure, I'm going to be honest, I end up in tears at the end of it because it was a very touching story. And I kind of say, how did you do that balance for that kind of that final scene going down to the path at the end?
It was, for some reason, something that I always had in my mind. I feel like that was the part of the short that was just the clearest for me, because that was the whole inspiration behind it. It did require a little tweaking of really finding that nice balance of cutting back to the protagonist and back to the parents and hitting all the beats of where the first characters start disappearing. But I mean, that's literally the inspiration and my biggest fear really of traveling home, of like seeing my parents age and at some point them not being there anymore. So yeah, it was an emotional journey making this film, and kind of weird because it's about my parents passing away, you know. But yeah, I mean, everybody on this team was so involved emotionally into this short film as well. That was really cool seeing everybody just contribute to it.
Yeah, no, I could be honest, it was a really, I wasn't quite expecting kind of had that feeling that early in the morning watching it, but it was such a really great short. And kind of going to ask also, the process of, did you do any like collaboration with other people within the short circuit system? So we'll start off with you, Ryan.
Yeah, oddly enough, the two shorts that are not in this room currently, but yeah, on Dinosaur Barbarian, I got to do the storyboard, which was tons of fun. It's just like a very crazy, fun comedic piece, and Kim, the director, has all kinds of cool ideas, and I got to just help bring the shots and the characters to life on that. And then yeah, I also got to help with Rhiannon's Songs to Sing in the Dark and do some character designs.
Cool. And send you, Liza.
I actually was lucky enough to share an office with Jacob. And it was so fun because I was working with development, and so I'd come back with new story beats and pin them up on the wall and, you know, talk them through with him, and he'd be like, what do you think of this and what do you think of that? And so he helped me so much just going through that, having someone to like ping the ball back at, you know. So it was awesome.
Yeah, and same to you, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, same for me. I mean, he said I shared a room, and it was really cool to just have that person who was actually going through the same experience that you're going through right now, and just bouncing off ideas, but then also like benefiting from her expertise as a modeling artist, because I mean, I had to model a whole city. Well, not me personally, but like I had a team that was modeling a whole city, and just having her walk me through the processes of her own department was super helpful.
And you've previously worked on other Disney projects. What was it like being a director for the first time? We'll start off with you, Liza.
It was amazing. I want more. But it was really interesting going from my department to then having to communicate with so many other departments that I don't usually work with. So I learned so much just talking to them and listening to how they do what they do. And so that was the biggest takeaway for me, was just listening to what they know and trusting them.
Yeah, and to you, Jacob.
It was really a great experience, but also scary at first when you're like, oh my God, I got selected. Now I really gotta like show what I can do. But like Liza said, it was just so much fun working with everyone involved and just learning from them and getting to know more about the aspects of each of their department, really. I think that was really inspiring. But then also being, I think, so I was trying to do was just be the supportive person that really helps them shine in their role and setting them up for success as best as possible. And I really hope I did a good job there for everyone on the team.
And same again to you, Ryan.
Well, as a story artist, which is what I usually do, you know, I give options to the director usually, you know, like here's a possibility. And now for the first time, I had to be the one that was looking at options and making a decision. And it's very difficult. Even on some details, you're not sure you could go this way, that way. And you just have to do some soul searching and listen to the expertise of each of your leaders on the different departments down the pipeline, and just go ahead and make decisions. And it is a daunting process, but very rewarding in the end.
Well, I just want to say thank you very much for taking your time out to speak to me today about your short circuit ones. You'll find them all on Disney Plus on August the 4th. Again, great shorts. I really enjoyed this second batch. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Also, a huge thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and also on our YouTube channel memberships. And I shall see you guys in another video. Laters.